Welcome to episode 4. This is it. A big welcome to the new subscribers. I've went public with it, so hello to all of you guys. This is episode 5. This is Chum. He's the third guest that we're having. So we're going to open up with a shot. Cheers to you, sir. Lovely. So I wanted to have you on because of what's been happening recently. There's been a lot of violence circulating our friend group, and it's not really our fault, but you play for a football team. I'm not going to name them just in case there's any legal disputes going on, but there's been a video came out on Twitter that I've got a hold of, and I'm going to show to the audience of a referee headbutting a spectator. I'm going to show it to the audience here, and I'm just going to show it to you, and we can talk about it after we watch it, right? Boom.
See, the thing is as well, I was on the other side of the pitch and didn't even see it.
See, that was going to be my first question. Where were you in relation to that? Because Boydie and Slide are right fucking there. So I could ask them, but they're not here, so fuck them. But you were there. And the whole game itself was...
It was a fucking shit.
was a shit show. So, do you want to talk me through the violent incidents?
Okay,
are you allowed to?
I mean, yeah, why not? I mean, there was plenty of bad challenges to start with, and the ref, again, army refs don't really use their cards that much, apart from the quite funny thing, he gave a yellow. Slide would be able to tell you the other one, but the first and only other yellow was for dissent from the other team.
Right.
Contesting a decision.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah. So after our second goal, make it 2-0, Johnny Boyd scored and is running back along the byline, celebrating, and their defender, the captain, sticks his leg out, like taking just a wee kick out, just being
just to be a wank.
Yeah.
Nice.
So Michael just runs up and it's right in his face. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But the guy scooped him.
Fuck. Oh no, that's on camera. No, I've seen the video. I don't have that, but maybe I'll put it in. How long is the video? 10 seconds or something? I'll put it up there and it'll just play while we're talking, right?
I mean, where does it end? Like, there was constantly loads of shite challenges. The ref had no control of the game, and that same boy was going about kicking folk the whole game. There was, when I came on as well, there was he just ran past and just tripped someone off the ball right in front of me. You're just like, what's your problem? Like, again, I think as Slide said, they were just trying to get the game abandoned because they were losing 3-0.
Yeah.
And they were joking with the coaches on the side about how they were not getting a rise out of anyone, or we're all shite bags and stuff like that, because we're beating you fair and square, like we want to fucking win it. And I'm assuming that we're going to get the points, but there's a hearing on Monday. They said that they wouldn't contest the result. It was well beyond 90 minutes anyway, and he blew the final whistle, so I don't think they can take the points from us. But
he blew the final whistle after he
headbutted him, yes.
Fuck. So you kept playing after that?
I can get you a better video with sound as well.
Fuck man, that's amazing.
I might need to publish it like till after that hearing, on Monday. But
yeah. I'm sure the people watching this will be like, fuck man, I need to find out what actually happened.
Yeah. Well, I've been getting, that's a thing, and this is, I obviously didn't hear it play out, but Boyd and Slade were right there.
Aye.
The boy was shouting a lot through the game, but it's amateur football.
Yeah, you don't.
I don't know. I can't speak for him and say that there was any abuse or otherwise. I don't think there was, but the thing that made the ref headbutting was a totally innocuous comment. Yeah. Again, the other team were essentially threatening boys in the sideline. Like one of them tried to punch Slade in the aftermath of all that as
Oh
well.
yeah,
He dodges that. And,
I need to put that video in as well. Yeah. That's only like a 3-second clip as well. Stick that there. Best dodge I've ever seen in my life.
Football, get a video cam.
Yeah.
So important.
Yeah.
So they're like shooting stuff at their sideline, just not even playing the game. They were trying to get the game called off. I think like either that or they'll just. Who knows?
But that was first on the agenda to talk about, because like, why is that shit happening? Like, it's so weird. Because I had Tino in last week, and literally the night before he was in just a brawl with some guy that just came into the pub and wanted to scrap with cunts, and it's like, is this what life is?
I mean, we could do a deep dive on that, but that is obviously an issue. Like, but again, just to highlight, I want to finish this, zip this up.
Yes.
Ref, but he, before the game, was sitting over there talking to them. Half time, he was over on their sideline talking to all the boys at their side. Just saying.
One of them.
I don't know. I don't want to be too rude about the cunt, but he had to headbutt someone, so.
Fuck him. Yeah. And that's kind of.
Do you know what he said? Remember what he said to the boy? This is from Body. What you saying, fat boy?
What you saying, fat boy? Headbutt. It's a good
Never
headbutt, to
seen
be
anything
fair.
like that in my life.
Nah, yeah, you don't. A headbutt's a dying art. Much like heading in football, it's a dying art.
This is the thing as well, just again to button it up, but obviously the video footage went into our chat. Like we were all waiting on it getting uploaded because like I want to see this right in front of the camera. And it goes in our chat, and within 30 minutes it is on Twitter from someone that none of us know.
Yeah.
Like some of my cousins sent me a screenshot of it, forwarded many times.
Fucking
like,
nuts, innit?
it's everywhere, and then they've got like a voice memo, I think from their keeper, who knows, lying about it, about the whole situation and stuff like that, as if we don't have it in video.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly what he was saying, but just admitting to lamping folk in the middle of the pitch and stuff like that. Like, but again, what brings? It's a game of football. Fucking.
Yeah, it's stupid. Maybe that's what they think football is. Just go out to try and scrap. Amateur football anyway, man. Fuck it.
Well, that's pretty pointless, isn't it?
It is. It's all quite silly.
MMA or boxing for that, if that's it.
The thing is, like, all these people are sober when they do that, I'm assuming, but it gets worse at night time.
They were hoping to get an absolute doing on the pitch, to be fair, so had to try something else.
Yes. Like when Wayne Rooney changed his studs at half time to injure John Terry. There we go. Bit of knowledge on that. Yeah. Fucking weird, man.
Do you want to segue into toxic masculinity, or is that? Is that but
fuck yeah, let's do that. Toxic masculinity. There's not really been anything in the news about, I don't know, males being toxic.
Vladimir
Putin or David Goodwillie or anything like that. David Goodwillie, right? Mason Green. That's fucking old news, man.
Structure of our whole
society.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. David Goodwillie though, and I'll be careful how I say this because I don't want to come off like a pure wank, but I'll cut out this fucking pause that I've just done. In fact, no, I won't. Anyway, right. David Goodwillie gets convicted of rape. He is a rapist, right? We can say that because he is convicted of it. Not only a rapist, dodged the paying of the compensation to the victim by saying he's bankrupt, right? He then goes and plays for Clyde for 5 years. No. Yeah? Clyde for 5 years, right?
He was still playing pro at the time, and I think he got signed for a few clubs before that as well.
It was at
the time of the event before the civil case, which is where he was found guilty by a judge.
Yeah, and then when the case was going on, he was like, right, okay, I'll leave. I think it was Plymouth or something. Left there, went to Clyde, right? Goes there for 5 years, And I'm not defending the fucking guy, right? Because he's a wank, right? And then at the start of this year, January transfer window, it goes to Wraith, and the people of Wraith are like, nah, fuck this guy, we don't want him. Whoever signed him, get them to fuck, and get him to fuck. So hundreds of people resign, the ladies team resign, don't want to be associated with the club and all that. And eventually all the public pressure means that David Goodwillie is loaned back to Clyde, right? And then as a result of him going back to Clyde, where he's been for 5 years, the ladies team there say that they don't no longer wish to play there anymore, which is fair enough, okay.
There is precedent for all that as well, though. They might not have known that option was available to them
because it hadn't been done before.
Because the Raith Rovers women team were strong and
did that.
They were principled.
So that's fair enough. But the North Lanarkshire Council thing is what kind of gets me. Like,
I'm not familiar with that.
They have issued a statement saying basically he's not allowed in the stadium, and if he gets in the stadium, right, the stadium is loaned to Clyde from North Lanarkshire Council, right? And if he gets in the stadium, then they're taking the stadium off Clyde, right? But they fucking knew about it back then, and I don't see...
It's a lot of political pressure though as well.
I know, but surely that doesn't come into it. It should be about bad and good, and back then they didn't give a fuck.
What's bad and good though?
I know, but come on. You didn't give a fuck back then, but you give a fuck now because it's in the media.
What's your point, Colin?
Well, acknowledge it.
Did they make a mistake previously?
Yeah, exactly. But in the statement, because I did read it, I wanted to see if they did fucking acknowledge it, right? They said the stadium was previously owned by North Lanarkshire Leisure, right? So it's a bit like saying Renfrewshire Leisure isn't owned by the fucking council, which it is, basically. It's a council subsidiary. So they don't control that. It's a fucking cop-out. And I'm like, nah, fucking don't try and shift the blame onto a different organisation that you own. And I'm like, nah, take fucking responsibility. It was used that fucking...
There's not a lot of accountability though with these kind of organisations.
Yeah.
And
but it pisses me off. Like, why are you trying to, like... It's as if they're trying to dodge,
it's
like...
saving face, I guess, as well, isn't it?
Yeah. But, yeah.
And that doesn't make it okay, but...
It doesn't make it okay. And I'm not trying to fucking defend the guy, because he is...
But again, he shouldn't have had a career in football after the...
Yeah, and the other guy that got convicted with him fucking straight up just retired, because... You shouldn't have a career after that. You're in the public eye and you shouldn't really be.
So he's meant to be a role model.
Exactly.
I know at the same time it's a job.
You've just made me think, right? See when he signed for Wraith and it was at the peak of its fucking media hype and the BBC or STV went into the streets of Wraith, wherever that is, Kirkcaldy or Fife, right? And there was so many like people in the streets, obviously, like saying this is horrible, we don't want him here. And then it gets to the last guy in the fucking interview, and it's just this old guy, and he just goes, "If he scores a couple of goals, I'm no caring." I just burst into laughter because this guy obviously just fucking out of check with reality, and I was like, "Fuck, man."
Probably a misogynist, and again, that's. The decision makers in Scottish football are generally old white men.
Yeah.
As it is across most of civic society, but from a certain background, more than likely as well, social and economic background. And again, the people on the Raith board that made this decision were warned months beforehand. When the rumours first came out, the Val McDermott, the sponsor, warned them that she would withdraw.
Yeah.
Sponsorship, she said that they didn't support it and there was a massive outlash, but they did it anyway. Then they doubled down in a statement after it, saying again that we've not made this decision based on personal reasons, put the football first. But you can't do that.
Nah.
It's not how it works. It's like you said, it's a cop out.
Yeah, it's stupid. Everyone's stupid and he should retire. What age is he anyway? He's like fucking in his
He's about
30s.
32, but I mean, he'll earn a decent amount of money from it.
Yeah, well,
I don't blame. I blame him for his actions previously, obviously, and that's irresponsible. Trying to think of the correct word. Undefendable, whatever. But it's the clubs and the leagues that are to blame for him still playing now. It's like it's not up to him to stop. But I mean, well, maybe it is.
well, they let him in the first place in 2017.
Have a bit of shame, but be careful not get done for libel,
well, I don't think we're saying
Really
anything particularly controversial. I think it's all kind of out there. Like, these are all facts that he was convicted of rape, and by definition that makes him a fucking rapist. Like, but the North Lanarkshire Council thing is the one that kind of annoys me. I'm not saying they're worse than a rapist or anything like that, but it is annoying. Like, just take accountability for it. Like, don't just shy away from it and shift it onto somebody else. Like, oh, it wasn't us that were in control at the time. And you were. But anyway, moving on swiftly. That's us done with that. It's just because it was in the news today, and I was watching Sky Sports News like before this, and it was just on a fucking repeat. But yeah, don't blame the women's team for withdrawing and shit, because I suppose they didn't know they could do that probably before.
Yeah, there was no precedent, and I think they were kind of showing the way.
Yeah.
And you've got to like, it's also solidarity. Like, you've got to show support for the Rafe women's team that have done this as well. Again, Rafe were the first women's football team that were associated with a men's club.
Plymouth Town?
So.
Were they?
Yep. Scotland.
Class. I would have thought it would be like one of the Old Firm or some shit.
I think Old Firm are actually quite slow in
getting a ladies?
Yeah, getting a ladies team.
I'm
not 100% sure on that, but I know that Glasgow City were
dominant.
I think they still are largely dominant, and have been about longer.
Yeah, probably.
Again, that's something I learned recently as well about when this actually all came out, is that women's football was illegal in the UK.
Yeah,
for a long time. In fact,
like
only recently, maybe even more recently.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but the mind boggles. But then it doesn't when you
realise what shit was like back then.
Well, and also just the whole, like I said earlier, the whole fucking construct of society is organised against women.
Sometimes you think, oh, was life better back in the 60s and shit? And then you think, oh wait, nah, was it fuck? Like, there was so much shit that so many people couldn't do back then. It was fucking disgusting. Anyway, there's other things on this list that I need to talk to you about. Have you seen the Kanye documentary?
I do intend to watch it.
I was counting on you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't. I know I need to. I was kind of just going to wait till is it all out yet?
Yeah,
is that all out now? So
came out like yesterday or something.
I should get on it. I've heard that it's quite inspiring in a lot of ways, and also probably quite fucked. But
quite fucked. Yeah, the first two I would say are inspiring, but the third one's like sad, man, because you see the recent years, man, and you're like, fuck. Anyway, you haven't seen it, so I can't spoil it, and obviously I can't spoil it for everyone else either, because take that off the list. Fud. Right.
To talk about Volodymyr Zelensky.
I want to talk about President Zelensky, right? On Twitter, he's being like paraded as a fucking big hero, right? And like, I think it's dangerous to do that. And have you seen
liberal media though as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. Have you seen the video? And it's like him and all his pals, and it's like the song "Shook Ones" is playing in the background.
It's like or something.
No, it's as if they're making it into a fucking Marvel movie or something, and it's like, mate, this is real life, and cunts are getting bombed at their hussies, and like people out here and in the US are like watching it as if it's a film, pure getting excited about it.
It's the social media age. Again, it's weird because it's just been ignored from the last like 20, 30 years of conflict in the Middle East, where it's been the same
Yeah.
kind of thing, but we don't have the same exposure because why is that?
White people.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Because it's closer,
But
I suppose. Maybe not even that, just because it is white people, it's closer, and yeah,
and because the
racism.
perpetrators of the
Oh yeah, because it's not us
'cause
doing
it's
it. Yeah, it's the other guys that are doing it this time. That's why we're going to cover it. Yeah, it's stupid.
Zelensky, again, there's no defence for Putin's propaganda about him being a neo-Nazi. There is, you have to acknowledge that he did incorporate a battalion called the Azov Battalion, a group of neo-Nazis, into the National Guard of Ukraine. They are an official unit of the National Guard, and they are neo-Nazis.
Is that like something he's done when the
It's post
conflict started?
post Crimea, yeah.
And
like,
he's like just taking what he can get at this point. or
they're
is
in the
it
front. They're in the front lines of Donbass. So there will be. It's kind of like a political concession, perhaps. Maybe I don't know the reasons for it, but you need to acknowledge that he's done it. And I think that's where the propagandas came from. The Ukrainian population, I think, voted 2% for far right parties. It's not much separate to most places in Europe, probably.
Yeah,
Unfortunately. And even Russia, one of their largest parties, is a kind of fascist party. So it's propaganda, but
And Russia's largest party invades countries. And
yeah.
for no real good reason. Well, I suppose he has his reasons, but are they good reasons?
Well, again, before it happened, I was kind of the opinion that he wouldn't do it because for some reason you try and rationalise the things that these psychopaths do, like all the decisions that they're going to make. Just trying to think what gain does it have for him to do this?
Yeah.
Trying to shore up his base in Russia.
I sometimes think
in the
about
face
it
of
like
NATO aggression, essentially. I mean, the Eastern NATO expansion is still not a reason for invading a neighbour.
I sometimes think about it like he's not a psychopath and he is just a guy that gets raging, and like when people taunt him and shit, like he's not going to fucking do it, and then
I think he's a psychopath. You
he
see what
just
he
goes,
said?
"Aye, you think I'm not going to do it? Aye, watch this," and then he fucking does it. I honestly think that's what happened when he did it.
See what he said recently about I can't remember exactly what provoked this comment, but he said something essentially. I don't want to misquote it completely, but he basically was like, "There'll be no winners in this conflict, and you'll get dragged into it against your will, like whether you like it or not." Talking about the Western leaders and all their kind of military support to. He's ramping up the kind of nuclear war agenda as well, but it's hard to. You don't want to. You need to criticise him. Totally, completely. Like there is no resolution for him. Absolution rather. However, the West still, in a lot of ways, over a long periods of time, created this situation. Even in the early 2000s when he was getting elected, it was even the Blairite, Tony Blair and Lord Mandelson, who were in the Kremlin supporting him, and one of the early kind of Tory leaders at that time as well. Obviously Trump, all the kind of British establishment have helped them hide and wash their money.
Yeah.
In the UK, the UK is one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
Yeah.
Wash their money. You can get a visa in the UK if you just commit to spending enough money.
Yeah.
And then they've got hide all their assets from everywhere. I mean, in the UK's response has been weak as fuck as well.
Yeah, it seems to be late to fucking everything.
It's
like
not even but it's intentionally. It gives them a chance to sell up their assets.
Yeah, which brings me into my next thing. Ah, fuck, I ran out.
I'll take this one.
Yeah, okay. The Abramovich thing.
So again, essentially, he maintains that he is not involved with Putin, which is obviously total horseshit.
Yeah.
One of his closest aides. He says he's not political a week ago, but now he's selling up.
All this shit.
Yep.
But I think that's just because he's afraid he's going to lose it all for nothing.
Because he's been warned. He's been mentioned in Parliament. So but again, they could have seized it. I don't know exactly the precedent for such a thing. Seizing a football club or forcing a sale. That's essentially what he's done, and he's going to make his money back. He's talking about how he's going to wipe off the debt. He's not going to make them all the money, which is over £1 billion.
Yeah.
But he's valuing the club at $3 billion. So he bought the club for 140 million. So he's gonna make his money back and then some, even with a fire sale.
But he's going to donate all the proceeds
And did you read?
Yes. The fine print, man.
Yeah.
Just
to victims of the conflict.
So it could be just completely to Russians.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
But there's no legal document or anything like that as if he has to do that either anyway.
Yeah, because he could just leave it and then it doesn't happen and then everyone forgets about it.
Selling his flat, selling his... it's in his house as well, I think. Because this is the thing. Like, if you're dishing out sanctions, you need to hurt the oligarchs, the people that are at the
top.
Yeah,
pretty much.
But a lot of the Western sanctions are just gonna... Putin's gonna be totally insulated from these sanctions, and it's gonna hurt Russian people.
Yeah.
And do you think seriously for a second that Putin isn't going to be able to turn that around? Like, think of the massive propaganda machine and blame the internal dissent and stuff for these sanctions.
Yeah, look at what they're doing to us and shit like that, and then
anyone that speaks out and
yes.
Everyone, like, I'm not saying that, but the people that is the people that we need to show solidarity to, though, is the people on the ground in Russia and of course Ukraine that are fighting against.
Yeah.
This, because again, in the face of what is essentially fascist aggression and a police state.
You're absolutely right.
I seen a video before I came out, a wee old lady who survived. I can't remember exactly what event it was, but it was like Leningrad. She survived like the siege of Leningrad, and she said that her signs are anti-war signs, and then
she's
a swarm of, I don't know what you would call them, but the Russian like riot police, holding her away.
Yeah.
In a van, like
crazy
one of
shit.
Apparently hundreds of thousands of people in Russia that have been arrested since the conflict started. That kind of crushing dissent. And if you want to, like, it's so easy to almost say that's terrible, but the UK are currently putting through a bill, and the policing bill. I can't remember the policing and crime bill or something like that.
The one that doesn't let you protest and shit.
Obviously that doesn't apply in Scotland, but at the moment our constitutional situation, our primary parliament is down in London, so if you want to, direct action's the only way you get show your dissent to these kind of...
To be fair though, chum, did you see what those people did to those statues down there? Fucking shocking. On the sanctions though, what the fuck does cancelling Netflix for Russian people do to Putin and the oligarchs? That's not going to hurt them.
They think
that just fucks off the Russian people and gets them on that side, mate. I don't see how that works. And see
it's fucking weak, and just lets him build a siege mentality, and
yeah, exactly.
There's going to be dissent, but there's always dissent in the face of these totalitarian people. I mean, he is essentially a dictator as well. Do you know all about how he even is in power?
Well, he used to be in power, and then he left for a bit. Don't know what he did, fucked about in the forests or whatever.
No, he didn't leave. So he was... I think you can only... so again, not an expert. Right. You can only be in the president for so many terms. And he served his maximum. So became prime minister, so the level below the president. So obviously installed a wee kind of puppet.
And the guy above was his...
I think actually, again, could be wrong here, but I think I remember that he changed like laws and rules to give him executive power still as prime minister.
Like the guy under Bush, what was his fucking name?
Oh, Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney, yeah, he was just running shit the whole time. Man, right, anyway. So he had the executive power the whole
when
time.
you hear George W. fucking Bush.
Yeah, man. There's no saying in Tennessee.
So Ben is now in charge again, and has, I think, annulled the longest term legislation, right. So can serve for as long as he
so just
wants.
As a dictator.
And it has, exactly. It's not democratic in all the sense. I mean,
they have elections though, but they just kill the opposition.
Well, this is
so they are democratic in a sense, but not really.
No,
they just kill the opposition, and then
it's the facade of democracy, which again we know very well in the UK as well. Yeah. It's just a lot more underhand here. I mean, the Tories are currently doing it, trying to as if voter fraud is an issue. It is not an issue in the slightest. But if they can introduce voter ID, it will exclude poor people.
Yeah, excuse
from and minorities from. I mean, as if we have a first past the post. It's a fucking disgrace. Anyway, it's not a democratic system. It's not. It skews the votes completely because it's about constituency size and.
But was that not already installed by them and Labour though? Like,
it's a two-party state.
They agree on it.
It's the same as the US, maybe not quite as extreme, but because it's not like in the Scottish Parliament it's meant to be more democratic, and yet isn't because of the constitutional issues.
Mm-hmm.
No party's that was designed to stop a party getting a majority, and yet the SNP managed that and now have formed a cooperation agreement with the Greens. They've still got a working majority, which is like unprecedented. It's not supposed to happen, but like the constitutional issue has caused that.
Yeah.
Anyway, but back to oh Christ, I went on a tangent there.
No, I had something to say on that tangent though.
Okay.
Do you think we'd be better off, right? See, instead of electing MPs that are out for their own gain all the time, see if we just made it a lottery. Picked people at random that were, I don't know, over 18, high school educated. Do you think that would be better? Because these people would use the common sense approach, right? Rather than, and I think they would be less out for personal gain, and I think they would just go.
Well, again, it's about decentralising power and decision making, letting local people make the decisions.
Yeah.
At a local, don't
move them to London
to
have conversations in a big fucking room.
I can't remember exactly the quote, but it's like not for us without us, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Don't legislate for people without their say. Essentially, democracy should be participative.
Participative.
I think
participative. Yes. Good.
So wait, what did you suggest there? That you suggest there's
make
also
it a lottery. Maybe you need to put your name in the hat.
Something that happened, I think it was last year or the year before. There was a People's Assembly.
What's that?
So essentially a parliament of people.
Picking people.
Just like you could apply to be in the People's Parliament. It's 100 odd people, and again, obviously their views were a lot more representative of people. They're not necessarily all going to be from this managerial political class. The people that do represent us in Scotland. But again, the other kind of idea is to get experts in their fields to be the leaders and the legislators, which is you would maybe get better legislation, but it's still the same kind of corruptible.
I don't really understand what it is when you study politics. I just think you learn how to debate and that. I actually don't know any in-depth shit about politics as a subject, but I think you would apply a common sense approach to certain issues like healthcare and all that, and social care. You would just apply common sense to it. But these other people that are fucking millionaires and shit, they're obviously out for financial interest. Whereas if you got say a nurse was just elected out of a lottery, this is just, I'm picking this out of my fucking brain, right? they were elected out of a lottery, they would obviously vote like, oh yeah, I want to look after the people around me, and I want to have a job that looks after me rather than constantly degrades me and wants me to have a bad time. I want to I don't know, I think politicians as a fucking construct are like, it's stupid in the way that it is now anyway.
Representative democracy doesn't work.
It doesn't work because these people, well, actually they've just had a fucking pay rise announced when we're all getting national insurance fucking rises and cost of living crisis. Yeah. But that's none of my business, you know.
Again, the money's there to pay for these things. This is what the COVID
relief shit and
it shows you, like, the central banks, whether also, I mean, central banks as a concept also are exploitative of the global south, because again it basically means that they can fund their colonialism before they actually do it. They don't have to be violent, they just create the money, create the capital, and then give it to the countries and extract the resources, and then so you know what I mean. So it's basically like
we own all the shit.
Yeah,
you have some of that money, but it's going to be gone soon, and then we have all the shit still.
But again, so as a concept, it's a bit flawed. Because again, we always forget about the global south, who are the victims of major colonialism and neocolonialism, and obviously the climate crisis that I was going to say impending, but it's very real and for them right now, and
also
it's ongoing.
Also the victims of bombings in Somalia, I believe. Is Somalia global south?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting bombed right now, but I think it's getting talked about, to be honest. Yemen too. That's been going on for fucking ages, isn't it? And it just doesn't get coverage. I've forgotten about what we were talking about.
What I think I was about to bring up was the war in the Yemen, which is British state sponsored. They are supplying and training the Saudi Arabian army to bomb, and basically it's a kind of man-made famine again. So it's a genocide, if you're being honest. And again, is barely reported on, or not. Nobody's in the kind of British people's. It's not in our consciousness whatsoever. When billions of our money. Well, we say our money because you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The British taxpayer money, but that's not how things are funded, because they create taxes essentially to stop inflation more than anything.
I thought it was to pay for all the shit.
They create money first and tax later to adjust, to stop the inflation.
Right.
So
but see, what was I going to talk about? See, global news as it currently exists. Do you think we should have that? Like, do you think we should be informed on everything that goes on in the world? Or do you think it would be better if
I get where you're coming from.
Do you think it would be better in the world, the human race as people would be better if we didn't know about all the shit that went on miles away? Because
can't save the world till you save yourself, kind of
well,
idea.
That's the thing. Would shit be better if we didn't know that Yemen was getting bombed? Because obviously we find out about that and it makes us sad, obviously, but what the fuck can we do about it?
We see that's the thing though. We are bred to essentially and conditioned to feel helpless about these things. There's nothing for us to do as our legislators. What all you can do is, or you're going to email your
either
your
that
MP,
or you get a vote every 4 or 5 years, and then.
But again, we've just talked about representative democracy doesn't work. These people, you can tell when they're in election mode.
The other thing about news is, like, should it be on all day? Should you have access to it all the time? Like, should it be crammed down your throat? I suppose
corporate media is, and legacy media is no, because it is just misinformation, and it serves again, you need to think it's still a class issue at the end of the day. These a lot of journalists. Not isn't an attack because there is lots of good journalists.
Yeah.
But a lot of the companies that work for, and to an extent they have to work for. I'm not blaming individual journalists, but a lot of them, certainly in the kind of political kind of world, went to uni with the politicians and have prior relationships.
Yeah, so
even how do you think they get their stories half the time? I mean, look at Laura Koonsberg, the former political editor at the BBC. She basically was just getting drip fed by Dominic Cummings the whole time.
Oh, was she? Did that come out?
It's just obvious from the whole time.
It's
just laughable.
Did you, speaking about that, man, and all the fannies that were like in charge of the whole pandemic, have you seen who's the guy that got done like gaffing somebody on camera?
Hancock. Oh, the interview.
Have you seen? Yeah, he's been doing like a fucking interview thing. I fell in love. I'm guilty of falling in love.
Yes,
but again, like, mate, come on.
Whilst the week before he was like on holiday with his family or something like that, and his 2 kids, like, you fucking sneaky bastard.
Yeah, shut up. No, I'm no falling for that.
He's trying to trying to wash his reputation again. That's all that. That's all that shit is, man.
The Dominic Cummings one as well, though, was class. Whenever he did it months ago, and he just came out and just chucked everyone under the bus. And like,
but again, there's more that you can do as well. Like, he's been drip feeding. He's been drip feeding the. I mean, where do you think all these stories have been coming from?
Like the whole.
And that he's been drip feeding them from kind of maximum effect. But I mean, what is it? He refers to. He refers to Johnson on Twitter as just a shopping trolley.
What the fuck does that mean?
What is that? Or is that a trash bin? Like it's like an emoji. Like he refers to Johnson as.
Oh right, okay.
But again, that'll happen because of personal through Cummings under the bus essentially. Like.
Yeah, and there was those text threads where he was calling him a fucking idiot and all that shit. Well, I don't know, it was verbatim, but like it was like. They were all talking about him and shit in the group chat. And it's like, mate, these are the cunts in charge of the country, and they're actual communicating in a group text saying this guy can't be trusted with whatever
couldn't
shit.
Be trusted either.
I know, but neither can any of them. They all fucked up.
I mean, not that it means. I mean, that obviously does mean something, but again, they're at least elected.
Yeah.
To make these decisions, and he's not.
Well, was Johnson elected?
Yes. And not initially.
He was like a leader's fucking.
Yeah, he took over from May. Yeah. And then
got elected.
This is a total wash of an election as well. But this is where it was a hung parliament because there'd been I think defections. So they couldn't pass anything, they were in a total deadlock. And I can't remember exactly who. It was in 2019, it was Corbyn's last election. I don't know if it was him, but I know that the SNP backed it. Like the election in 2019, which was obviously a massive mistake because he ended up winning a major majority and is charted us on this course. Yeah, because obviously for democracy it's not healthy if you've hung parliament and you can't actually make any progress.
Make any change,
if any.
Yeah, I know. We're teetering on the edge, man. But wait, there's not much you can do. But okay. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, the Old Firm friendly. It is like none of the fans want it. I thought Celtic would have been up for it as a kind of ha-ha to the Celtic to the Rangers fans. Like, we're making you come across the world. Is it mid-season?
Like November or something? I've not read much about it, to be fair. But
nah, we're both not fans of the Old Firm anyway. But like, It is in the news, and it's a big thing. Like that's getting talked
if I was
about.
a Rangers fan, I'd be especially pissed off because they've essentially signed up as part of a Ange Postecoglou welcome home tour, like
Exactly. Is it
as
not
the
like
sideshow, like essentially, like I don't get it. Like it just makes no sense from the mayor perspective. To an extent, I can understand it from Celtic, but then they go about, oh, there's no Old Firm, blah blah.
Yeah, and they don't call it the Old Firm as well, and like the people in Australia aren't calling it the Old Firm, so I feel like there must be like some sort of agreement there where like I don't call it the Old Firm, by the way, and it's like it's a whole weird thing.
I just wonder if contracts have been signed after. Like, think of it like this: the Super League thing. Like they all signed contracts. That thing is not dead. Like I've seen something in the news about this Super League
it's like
trying to revive it
UV
again.
and
Barca, Real,
yeah.
The other forefronts. It was Perez that's started. But again, essentially, all these 12 clubs sign contracts. Can he just? It doesn't just go away as easy in that unless there's an out in those contracts. Is there going to be an out in this? Old Firm friendly tournament, whatever. Is it as easy as just bowing to fan pressure? And
no, that's the thing. Like everyone stopped talking about it as soon as we're like, oh yeah, no, we pulled it, and then it's like, but did you really though? But nobody really done their research.
Or again, check. they do issue an apology, and hope that it dies down.
Yeah.
Because again, that's the we were talking about like the 24-hour news cycle essentially, where. I mean, there's a reason a lot of stories run at the times they do to essentially replace things on the cycle. And I mean, when was the last time you heard about Partygate or anything like that?
Yeah, it's been a while.
I mean, Biden was under pressure as well, and now there's a war in Europe, and nobody cares about any of that.
Every time you see him speak, though, like he has been on the news talking about the Ukraine shit, and it's like every time you see him speak, he's just missing out words.
The Iranian people.
The Iranian people, and it's like.
And Kamala Harris behind them,
it's,
these are the people that run our countries. It's senile, old, rich men.
Yeah, but it is also like how much power do they really have? Like,
well, again,
are they pushing anything?
The real people with power are the people. The corporate leaders, but again, they control the government with their lobbying and the flow of the money. Like again, who is benefiting from the the crisis in Ukraine? Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, the arms manufacturers. The military-industrial complex are the ones that make the money out of all this. Like the people that bear the cost are the people on the ground, the civilians that are being shelled day in, day out by Russian forces.
Yes,
it's again, at the end of the day, a class issue, and it takes. You can't oppose anything like this without direct action because what else works?
Yeah, I think there should be a world without borders. And I should be allowed to travel anywhere.
This is something that I hear a lot, and I don't know. I just don't know. There's obviously got to be.
There's things called globalists, and it's
globalism's.
It's a bad thing, I think. Yeah. It's got negative
internationalism. Like
and I haven't looked in it, to be fair, but I think that's more like.
It's also a far right buzzword, but there is also very valid criticisms of globalism.
That's like have a world government kind of shit. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
UN, isn't
it's pretty much
NATO, like.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm like, I should be able to go anywhere. Like, there's people in certain countries say like.
Do you know what a lot of it's about though? Is it with goods and services like tariffs?
What can you get to us? But like, I mean, like
it's agreements between the two countries, like
tourism wise, but there's citizens in certain countries that can only they can't travel anywhere without getting a visa. Like Palestine, they're not allowed to travel
policies or
anywhere.
The opinions of their government's policies by other governments.
We're gonna dodge that bullet though.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
We'll tackle that one on episode 100. I think the Israel-Palestine conflict. That'll be quite a loaded one, I think.
That's a dangerous one because of the circling of the wagons about it. But
I think I know
could
how
go
I feel
on
about it,
that.
to be honest.
Anyone with a conscience knows how they feel about that.
Yeah.
Again, all you need to do is look at history and look at settler colonialism.
Nah, we're not going to man. Fuck this. We're only 5 episodes in. Come on.
Boring the life that I can't probably, man.
Anyway, the last thing on my agenda, but this doesn't have to be the end of the thing, and this is a question for you back home.
It's very important. This is actually more important than anything we've talked about today.
Yeah.
So engage your brains.
And see if you've made it this far. Fucking well done, right? Because some of the stuff we've talked about might not have been right up your alley.
Probably did not resonate.
But I can guarantee you, this is right up your alley. And the question that I want to ask you is, do you think that there are more wheels in the world or doors in the world? Let that marinate for a bit.
Well, I know what there's more of in this room. It's definitely doors.
Yeah, I mean this room's not on wheels. And my answer really is doors, because I've thought about it all day today, and that's why it's on the list. I wanted to get your thoughts on it, but Boydie raised an interesting point about Hot Wheels and toy cars and all that shit.
Doors and all.
They do have doors, but they're not functioning doors. I get that.
Well,
but is a door still a door if it doesn't open and close? Kinda.
Real fake doors.
Yeah, fake doors are doors. Fake doors are still doors, and that's that on that. A caravan,
I mean,
a camper van has 4 wheels and about 70 doors. So, a regular car.
Sheds.
Would you say there are more 5-door cars than 3-door cars, or the other way about?
That's a good question. Probably more 5 doors.
Yeah, because that's
slightly, but I don't think that'll be too much.
Yeah, I would probably average out to about a 4 kind of wheel to door ratio. So cars.
If it's got a boot rather than a hatch.
Whereas buses though, buses pretty much have like 2 doors and about fucking.
Some of them have 4 doors though. Like middle doors.
Oh yeah.
Bendy buses.
You're right. Bendy buses. That's the technical term. Yeah. So what's your thoughts on that? Where do you land on there?
I'm biased because I've got a lot of time for doors. Just because the caravan's got infinite doors in there.
Yeah.
And just the time we'll walk through the middle of the caravan, and there's just a door every like 2 seconds, and there's like 4 people between every door, and that was just so funny. So that's my answer.
We've got a good relationship.
I will justify it after.
Yeah.
Like that's my position. Like I'm a classic politician. I know where I stand, and I will justify it after if it like.
Yeah. Until someone
despite the facts
comes to me with real data suggesting that there's more wheels than doors. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Talking about fucking Hot Wheels. Piece of shit. No, but to be fair, like even no. Oh, goodness gracious.
And also, I think Boydie said about tyres. A tyre's not a wheel, I don't think.
No,
it has to be a full wheel.
Again, I can tell you, I've got experience in this department.
Yes.
The wheel is the tyre's very much separate from the wheel. I had to change a lot of tyres.
Oh yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing that. I've watched it be done. I remember one time I had to.
It's not that hard actually. It's about not breaking the tyre pressure monitoring sensor, which can happen.
Well, it looks difficult from an outside perspective.
But again, that's the thing. It's the first thing they teach you.
That's the first thing they teach you in tyre school. Sorry, wheel school. But I think we've covered a lot of really good stuff there. I'm worried about the David Goodwillie stuff though. I think that might come back to bite me in the ass.
Cut it.
But I'm not going to cut it out.
Just the way you prefixed it, just with don't hear me out here. Say what you're going to say. Say it with your chest.
I know, but I don't want people thinking that I'm fucking defending the guy, so that's why I had to preface it with like, he is a fucking rapist, mate. I know that, but like,
the kind of
the reaction to it is a bit like theatrical, I think, from not the Clyde ladies, to be fair, they are merited in doing what they're doing, but the North Lanarkshire Council thing with he's not coming in the stadium though, but you let him in the fucking stadium for 5 years, you daft cunts. So that's where I draw the line with them. Like, you could have made the decision, but you chose to stay silent at the time, and now because it has media attention, you have a problem with it.
You make an important point there, though. Like, a lot of things go on, and people just stomach it.
Yeah.
And don't stand up for what they believe in or what they think is right, and then
because there's no consequence to them at the time. Yeah. And now because they're like, we could face some backlash now that he's back here, so we need to do something.
Again, that's privilege as well, because just because something doesn't affect you,
yeah,
doesn't mean you can't do what's right.
Anyway, if I didn't turn on the TV and see the news today, I wouldn't have talked about it, and it wouldn't have annoyed me.
So the TV news? Oh.
Yeah, Sky Sports News.
My family.
And it was just on the wee yellow banner at the bottom, so it was just flashing along for fucking 10 minutes, and I was like, right, okay, I need to stop. I need to turn this off. But anyway, it was good talking about the headbutt thing. I thought you maybe would have seen it happen. I thought play was maybe stopped at the time, and you would have maybe like seen it, and everyone would have been like, what?
I mean, play was stopped, but I still didn't see it. Like I was talking to somebody, like, and then just
nice, but it was a good way to open the show, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
The show, did I call it show?
Probably didn't like
it's
evolve
not really
as people thought that it was gonna evolve after that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fucking we cover all the bases though, don't we? We throw the net out to a wide audience, and then we take it in right at the end.
Strangle the life
out of it, and then we go, doors are wheels, brother.
Yeah.
Doors are wheels.
Well, I mean,
watch yourself.
Yeah. I do kind of want to talk about doors or wheels, because one of the shower thoughts I had today is that the shower doors were on wheels.
Oh.
I don't know if that
you
turns the tide at all, but it is an important point, I think.
You raised an important point, because how many other technologies are there out there? Because there's many technologies that we've not thought of that are probably on wheels, and then
so I think Slide said drawers.
Yeah,
there's got to be more.
There's so many drawers, but they have their doors as well.
I mean, there's
drawers.
There's a lot. No, they're not doors, but there's a lot of. Is there a storage compartment? Like you store
but
it in
you
the
open
drawer.
a drawer, and you
but the door's bolted on and opens, like into the storage space, and the drawer is the storage space.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. No, yeah. That's a drawer's different from a door. Yeah, no, that's true. I'm being silly, but I'm trying to be the devil's advocate to every point. Otherwise, if we just agreed with each other on everything, what would this show be? We would just be.
Well, that's it. We'd cause it would be 10 minutes long. We'd cause a war in the Ukraine.
Exactly. I like you and have no reason not to. Anyway,
so you're trying to wrap that up, and I just
no, we got some important stuff in there, I think. Anyway, that's episode 5. That's Chum, or Barry Beans is his stage name. We can't say his real name for legal purposes. He's got many ongoing court cases right now, so just thanks for listening. Hi and also thank you to the new subscribers. And also I got a lot of messages when I put the story up on my Instagram saying, oh, this is really cool, it's nice to see someone doing something different. So thanks for those messages, that was pretty cool of you. But yeah, thanks, catch, bye.